Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Troy, A Total War Saga here today on the channel. We're back with episode 4 of our campaign Let's Play as Achilles. In today's episode, we're going to be finishing off the Dorians. We want to try and secure the entire province of Thessaly and Epirus. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on, let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions for the series and where you'd like me to expand and conquer. If you don't like Troy for whatever reason, feel free to leave a dislike. Cult of Athena's up nice and high. We're going to use a hatacomb, the slaughtering of 100 bulls, to get that cult just slightly a little bit higher. We'll try and get it to worship where we can. I want to try and go down Apollo and Hera. However, using it just sort of depends. If you're more conducive to Ares and prefer chariots and stuff, that's not a bad strategy either in this current version of the build. So challenges wise, we still need to deal with Ajax. I'll send Achilles off in a minute. Indignant, greedy, and outraged. Personally, I prefer outraged. I think it's quite good. I like to be quite aggressive and tenacious. So, also got to say a huge thank you to the Creative Assembly for sending me a free early access code of Troy and making this Let's Play possible. So, a huge thank you to them and their community team. Ajax is going to be sent off. Achilles is going to be sent off to deal with Ajax. Ajax is in my other army, so he's a living legend. Achilles stands alone. Right, so it's a really interesting mechanic that because you can either fight them on the battlefield if you're naturally going to expand and conquer that way, or you can confront, which means you get sent off with an RNG event. So I guess he could lose, but we get a nice buff there. Living legend, minus 20% upgrade. Keep is the main thing to take from there. So we've got 2 full stacks in operation, Ajax and Achilles. We're currently strength ranked 5, and we want to try and finish off our war with the Dorians. Troy will be coming out for free on the 13th of August, 14th in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, and it's only free for the first 24 hours, so there's really no reason why you shouldn't go and pick it up. So we're currently basically occupying the area of modern-day Thessaly. We want to try and get all of it under our control. We eventually want to try and probably declare war upon a couple of the neighbouring factions to the north. We've got the Macedonians. We've also got the Cesopi, I think, to the west. Once we've got most of northern Greece under our control, we'll try and potentially confederate with Menelaus or Odysseus. And it's still quite a while. I don't think I'm strong enough to go straight for Troy anyway. Let's finish off the Dorians though.
Don't try and take not too angry to speak then.
So we're at war with the Macedonians. I was just reading that, so we're going to be drawn into that. My strength rating is unreliable. That's a shame. So we had to peace out with the men of the mountain, I like to call them, hanging around Mount Olympus. We fought a lot of Dorian forces in the last episode. So we're going to be pushing to try and take the entire region of Olympus, push out from Larissa, and now we're at war with Macedonians. Obviously it's Bronze Age, so they're more early barbarians. It just reminds me, I did watch a early documentary on that Kings and Generals channel that Darren helps out with, on the early Macedonians quite recently. I do recommend it. It's a good one. It's sort of, especially now because we're in the Bronze Age, aren't we? So it's before the Macedonians aren't your pike heavy faction you would sort of associate with them. So I'm curious to see what they deploy. Giant vanguards. Really? That was an easy auto resolve, but they got murked. I think I remembered in the Discord that people have sort of mentioned that even though it's actually probably kind of realistic, because normally large entity units usually get pummeled in auto resolves in Warhammer, like single large entity units, but I don't know, maybe they shouldn't get wiped out like that, or maybe it's a bit conducive like in DEI for Rome 2. The auto resolves are incredibly harsh to promote you playing more battles and just auto-resolving your way around the campaign map. So that's a little bit an interesting sort of case study there. Athena's going to help us out with this one. We did most of the work against the Dorians in the last episode. So first up here today, we should be able to finish and focus them off. They've only got 2-3 settlements. And then we'll focus on the Macedonians. Achilles will be going to war with the Macedonians, so we didn't lose any of them there, which is good. We'll straight up occupy rather than looting and occupy, so I don't have to hang around too long and the influences seems to be okay in and around these certain territories.
Who's looking for a fight?
I don't want to deal with the instability. Okay. We'll try and boost my envoy in my capital, try and get him up a little bit. Achilles is rank, what, 15 now? 20 units, not the most ideal army build, but still a lot to work with. I'm testing out the giants and centaurs in my army.
Send them packing.
We're using a pretty low to medium tier build. But we should be able to take the... Yeah, look at this, man. The giants just keep on getting wiped. I don't know if I necessarily like them. Even though we've got a surplus of them in and around our territory. Yeah, I kind of feel like... they're not the most optimal of characters. And we finished off the Dorians here today. Oh, there's a maelstrom. So, as we expand and conquer, you do get certain events to try and stop your progress. And we'll try and break that down and rebuild and repair. Yeah, I wonder if there's sort of a worldwide buff for taking the territory in and around Olympus. Ajax is looking to press against the Macedonian capital, actually. Okay, so do they want peace? Because I want to try and replenish and repair. Minus 60. Because they're super far north. Move my spy up in Achilles. Yeah, so Macedonia. 4 territories. They're actually quite bigger than the Dorians. So it looks like we're going to be dealing with the Macedonians here today. We'll move Ajax up. 17. Now we're in line of sight. Mostly slingers in his army build. Personally, like overall, from what I've played in my Paris campaign and in custom battles, I personally prefer the sort of heavier Phthia units and mostly archers. But we're just like, I wouldn't like copy and paste these army builds if I was you in your Trojan campaigns just yet. I'm just sort of just continually pushing and continually being aggressive. I haven't really taken 5-10 turns to sit down, convalesce, and pick my perfect army build. So we've been pushed out here, which is not too bad. I'm going to chuck a quick save and a hard save. Athena's going to come and help us out in this one, and I'm actually going to play this one on the battlefield. Silver chevrons. He's actually got 4 units of centaur cavalry there. So we'll fall back, because he might be able to get some high ground here. And you never know, Achilles might try and help us out. Oh, I thought he wasn't going to go do it then. Oh, he's given chase. So we're fighting in the mountains, okay. Well, let's do another quick save, and let's have a look at the terrain. Yeah, so before the battle was in the grasslands, this time around it's in the mountains. We've got the chevrons on them. We probably should be able to match them in various units. A lot of spears, a lot of club warriors, and we've got giants and 2 hand axes. Clubmen, 2. Oh my god, bless me. I might leave that in, that's quite funny. I live in an old dusty house, trust me. Right, so corner camping's probably the play. I couldn't see there. Yeah, because they got cavalry, so they're going to wrap around us. Yeah. There seems to be like little cliffs here, which is quite funny. We might be able to use that to our advantage, but maybe not. Then they'll just shoot down over the top of the back of us, I think. There's actually 2 little choke points there in the corner of the map. I think we're better off pulling back this way. So what I'll do is I'll make my spearmen be the front line. We'll angle it with swordsmen to fight on the flanks. And I might just put my 2-handed clubmen and my giants in the front line. And if anything charges me head on, I might try and countercharge it. Because looking further back there, I don't think the terrain there is very conducive for a successful victory. We'll move here. Ajax, I want him to be the spitting image of Achilles. I want him to basically function and fight in the same way, so I don't have to change my style too much. I want him to be aggressive, I want him to be tenacious, high octane, jeweler. That's what I kind of want. So we'll pull them further back here now. But the main objective of this series is to unite the majority of Greece under a Danaan banner. We're still quite a while away before we can even contest the city of Troy. Homeric victory conditions wise, we need to finish the chapter objectives, which we've only done a couple of. We also need to defeat Paris, Hector, and Troy, and Achilles needs to be ranked 27. So even if you aggressively push over there, you can't actually complete the Homeric campaign until Achilles is, well, level 27. So he's only level 15 now. So once we sort of get around the 20-25 mark, we might look to make some plans and push on over. So strap yourselves in for an hour-long episode here today. And from now on, I'm probably going to do hour-long episodes to finish my campaign because the support's been fantastic and I want to try and get as much content up for you guys as possible so you can have some tips, have some tricks, and just a little bit of feedback for your campaigns. Okay, so Ajax can sit there. But due to supply lines, we've only got 2 armies in full operation, so it's not overly too much. So we'll try and form up here within the corner. And it's going to take quite a long way to push along. But here are the giant vanguards. These are the tier 1 giants. The end tier 1s are really quite good, but it does take quite a lot of investment. So the Macedonians seem to have a decent... Oh, okay, so they've got tier 2 centaur cavalry now trying to push in. And they're wrapping up around and away. Yeah, we would have got smashed by them if we fought the centaurs in the open field. So we'll try and make this a little bit better. So basically what I want to try and do is allow... There's actually a rock sort of holding us out. So that's what I want. Yeah, make it a little bit like this. So we'll get the giants to sort of countercharge and push. My skirmishers are really what's going to try and carry us out in this. So this is my first corner camp that we've done in Troy on Total War Saga. I am curious to see how it holds out, if I'm being honest. So we're probably... Yeah, it's probably going to take us 100 turns before we can push Troy. If you want to see a campaign, a mini-series where I rush and try and take Troy as quickly as possible, I tried to test out the Menelaus series. Turn 35, I think specifically, around about turn 40, I tried to rush and take it. Because I had a mini-campaign that was only allowed to be recorded from CA for 40 or so turns. Okay, that's slowly but surely pushing on. I also do have a Paris campaign as well. But I hope you guys are enjoying Troy. It's going to be taking over the channel for this week and the next, most definitely. So stay tuned for more uploads in and around launch week. Also, if you do download it on the Epic Games Store, use creator code SimpzyTotalWar at checkout. I really much appreciate it. If you do go buy your Fortnite V-Bucks. I don't know. I just think of, use code LaserBeam. He's like, I think he's the biggest Australian YouTuber now. Who's a big Fortnite YouTuber. Okay, so the Centaurs now pushing up here. They're actually skirmishing me out a little bit here. They've got some decent range. Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to sort of allow the two-handers to sit in the front line, because they're going to... Hang on, do they actually make them look like Centaurs as you zoom out? Oh, that's kind of cool. When you zoom out, it actually looks like it pushes the unit model further to the front. Because it's really interesting, we'll try and countercharge this, of what the ancient people, what sort of thought centaurs were. Like, they saw, like, as a peasant, you saw this guy come screaming out of the forest on a horse, and you're like, he moves with the horse. He must be a centaur. Or that. The Cyclops. They thought they roamed around ancient Greece, but they were old, dead elephant skulls.
You'll soon be crying for mercy.
Yeah.
Seriously, shut up.
I don't know if they were ancient, or what were they? Like an ancient mammoth species, maybe, potentially. So the giants are aggressively pushing here. They're only tier 1, so I'm curious to see how well they perform. Oh, they're nearly... Okay, they're at half health. like the end tier giants, but like, yeah, maybe I'm better off just getting Phthia, spears, and infantry. So we'll try and skirmish into these clumps where we can. Ajax is going to try and hit the enemy general. The centaurs, even though they've got skirmishes, they're being slightly negated here with this counter charge. Oh, so they routed. Wow. So the giant vanguard units, especially for the upkeep, I personally wouldn't recommend them in your army build just yet.
You're going to suffer.
Harpies seem to be more beneficial on the low tier. Centaurs, we've got some in Achilles' army build, but we haven't been able to use them that much. The centaurs are pushing on my left-hand flank here, so the counter charge maybe was able to broke, weaken, and reduce some hit points of some of the guys pushing up. And they're just sort of skirmishing back. Still a 50-50. Once we knock out their legendary lord, once we knock out their lord, or their hero, Ajax seems to be doing quite well. With a fiery, flaming lion helm. Whoa. Yeah, just continue to focus on him. Yeah, he's a warlord, so we should be able to deal with him. Drop Oristale. It's like godly flakes there. Oh god, that reminds me. Just those flakes and gold gods remind me of that. Oh, what's that awful Henry Cavill movie? Like the start of that movie, it's made by the people that did 300. The start of that movie is great with Henry Cavill, but crikey, I can't even remember what that movie was called. The ancient Greek one. I think like Bard. The guy who plays Bard in The Hobbit is plays one of the gods. Such a crazy movie. I can never remember. We'll just reform this because there's a bit of a gap here. I can never remember actors' names or song names, but I just remember like how to reference them. Because the bad guy in that movie was the bad guy from Stormbreaker, that Alex Rider series. Like, oh, there's so many of those bad spy early 2000 movies. I'm just like, Cody Banks was another one of them as well. Oh god. Okay, so we seem to be holding quite well. Our slingers are being put to work in this one. They're actually moving forward there as I was trying to get cinematic shots. Okay, their general looks like he's in a full retreat. We'll try and... Yeah, you might be able to run him down. Oh, you got him! Yeah, sometimes it's not worth trying to chase them down like that. So it's still a 50-50 even though the general... Let's fall back, try and reform that up a little bit. So try and hit the clusters where you can. So Ajax was able to fight a warlord there incredibly easily. He only lost, I don't know, 1/4 of his health, not even a third, I'd say. And now we'll throw him in behind these shields. Shielded spears. Okay. So once we defeat this Macedonian army, we should be able to push towards their capital quite easily. But it's great to see as a bit of a test if Ajax can hold his own in combat. And he seems to be excelling in this. So just like reflecting on my units here. The club spears, because there was so many, like, sorry, the two-handed club unit didn't do too well, even though I aggressively pushed them just due to arrow fire. But yeah, I'm not impressed by early tier giants. I was sort of expecting them to be more or less, at least not similar to, equivalent to a Warhammer 2 Grom, like river trolls and whatnot. More or less Warhammer 2 trolls, but they're not doing too well. Ajax here is getting stuck into the thick of it against their heavy units. Oh, okay, so they pushed out of their position and gave chase. Well, maybe try and swing around here. Yeah, they're starting to break. We may have victory here today. Also, haven't forgotten about my other series that I'm running on the channel, Numenorian and Rome 2. I've still got episodes in the bag, but especially over the first 2 weeks. He gets the most out of views and sort of looks on Troy, and people are hungry for it. There's no reason in about 3 to 4 weeks we can start trickling back to old campaigns. But it just really depends on you guys if you're enjoying Troy. And welcome to all the new subscribers. I have received a couple of comments as well, as we're slowly but surely just trying to finish off the enemy here. Would you recommend Troy Total War as your first Total War? Well, first of all, it's free, so there's really no reason why you shouldn't go pick it up on day one and then just play it at your own leisure. So maybe you guys could have a suggestion as well. I think the thing is with Total War, like, if you're interested in a particular area of history, we've one here today, that can really override like the core game mechanics and how good a game is. Like, personally, I sometimes just crave playing a Total War in the 17th and 18th century. I just love that conquering. I love musket warfare in Europe. I think it's a really, really cool and interesting time period. However, arguably, vanilla Empire is broken and atrocious. You need definitely Darth mod. But even sometimes people complain about that. But personally, because I'm really interested and invested in the time period, that can overwrite that. So getting back to what game I'd recommend for newcomers, I reckon just go bang in the road. I reckon play Rome 2. That's probably the easier game to learn and play. Then you can go into mods and whatnot. Obviously, I think once you get a little bit down the line, the Total War Attila 1212 AD experience is very good. And even, some people may agree or disagree with me, but I personally think Medieval 2 holds up. Rome 2, graphically, it's sort of like the fidelity of graphics, it probably doesn't, but the core campaign does. And even that is a little bit more harsher and harder. I think in like Rome 2, like, you can't withdraw from battles. You just like lose your army half the time. Okay, so we're just trying to finish these guys off here. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, is Troy an easy game? There are easy factions. This particular campaign is... The thing is, with Achilles, he's got so many mechanics, and there's so much stuff if you don't pay attention to it. Like trying to negotiate and figure out an outrage campaign, like an outrage stuff. The outrage stuff with Achilles is probably not very good. So Ajax deployed 2.7, he lost 1.1, and really they only lost 1.1. I guess we just didn't really run down and finish them off. They just got away. Damn you, Macedonia! Macedonia plaguing the Greeks once more. Nice right through the chest. He's done alright there. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so I recommend Rome 2 for newcomers. Straight away. But I think you're better off just starting on easy difficulty and you should be alright. But there's plenty of fantastic I think Total War actually has some of the better tutorials of games. Like Athena's gone and leveled up. Because I personally, I've mentioned this before to Paradox when I've gotten their stuff. Like, I just feel like, I know it's like obviously more expensive, but I feel like their tutorials should have voice actors. Like the Total War tutorials are fantastic for newcomers, so I do recommend them. And just playing on easier difficulty. I feel like Paradox games have a steeper learning curve for other people, just due to the tutorials sometimes. Okay, so we'll try and push for the capital here. Even though we won the fight, most of them escaped, which is a shame. We'll push Achilles up to help. And we should be able to... Oh, how is Achilles not in there? There we go.
Take them out.
Alright, we might have to siege them out for a little bit. Build some battering rams. Okay, so my cult of Athena has gone all the way up to worship now. So we actually can get Gorgons. All heroes are unbreakable in battle. That's what I particularly want. Plus 10 morale as well. So whenever we sort of get stuck, if we can get the hit points for Ajax and whatnot, really high up. So we can get an epic agent. So I'm going to be showing off the Gorgon here today. Keto. So the Gorgon only lasts for 8 turns. So that's kind of cool. Realistic that you don't have a epic agent for too long. But the main thing, what she can do, she can entirely wipe enemy garrisons. How crazy is that? She costs a little bit to get. We had to put a lot of investment into Athena. I wonder if she could destroy the entire Trojan garrison, because it's the largest and biggest in the game. Potentially not. That might be a little bit overpowered. And we're still living off our living legend status. There's no more challenges. Okay, welcome to the top of the turn. So we're still currently sieging out the Macedonians in their capital, and it's currently a 50-50 siege. So I'm just going to pull back here, because what I want to try and do is allow the Gorgon eventually to break down the garrison. Alright, so Achilles can come in. Yeah, so look, the Gorgon's quite an investment, so if they come out and attack us, that would be more beneficial. If not, we'll allow the Gorgon to destroy the garrison, and we'll just go right back into it. We'll also get a small amount of replenishment here while we wait. So we still can't move her in there just yet. 300 food, 30 gold. It's not too much of an investment. Okay guys, welcome to the top of the turn. 57 into our Let's Play. So we're going to frighten the garrison here. The Gorgon has been departed. Now, I don't know if this is a guaranteed success. Look at the pottery artwork, man. It's so beautiful. They always really outdo themselves in all Total Wars. Especially newer ones, from Warhammer to here on graphics and just general aesthetic and whatnot. So as you can see there, the 16-man garrison, which was quite large, has been massively depleted. We've pulled back to our territory just to get the small amount of replenishment. Now Achilles can push in, and we'll be able to auto-resolve this settlement out quite quickly. Look at this. The entire garrison there is smashed to between 7 to 12 units. So I personally prefer Cult of Athena. Just the way we're going in our campaigns, because of the morale buffs, the unbreakable heroes, and the Gorgon. I think she's really quite cool, especially from tearing down garrisons. So we did a sacrifice there. Unfortunately, got bad omens. It's kind of like the Winds of Magic for Warhammer 2. Unfortunately, we get a -7. So even though we've got Athena on our side, we use the Gorgon. We're going to get a -7 morale, and that's quite big in auto resolve. It's mostly based on morale and various melee attack and unit health and armor and defense and whatnot. So we did lose a couple of our units, which is fair enough. So I particularly didn't want to play that siege if I could avoid it. Personally, I prefer playing field battles, so whenever I can avoid doing a siege, I will. But we have done some siege. We've done quite a few sieges already on Troy in my various campaigns, so I don't really feel like we're missing out. So we could try and then continue to run down the last of the Macedonians. Okay, so there's 9 units to the north here now at the top of the turn. Achilles is ranked 17, Ajax is 12. We've got a replenishment there, and we'll continue to try and push on. Athena is smiling upon us. Let's encircle. So interesting to know, if you sacrifice and then you back out, you lose that sacrifice, which is kind of a shame. Sacrifice, +9 morale. There's no harm in spending a couple hundred food so that you can take the settlement slightly easier, save on replenishment and repairing, and you also, of course, get a huge amount when you win anyway. 700 experience, 1.2k food most of the time anyway, and we'll occupy because we don't want the province instability against Macedon. So we nearly have the entirety of Macedon under our... Oh, we do now. Yeah. Oh, no, we don't. Nissa. Yeah, so we didn't go push and take that. Oh, it's a gold mine. Huh, that's incredibly important. Gold is such a huge commodity in Troy Total War. It allows you to trade for various resources you want and unlock the experience in high tier units. But there's actually a degrading gold mechanic, which I think is really quite cool. So you've got to be careful on how you spend it. Various building chains as well for gold mines can deplete the gold mine quicker. So it kind of reminds me of, I don't know, Age of Empires 2. Didn't they have degrading gold mines? Or what's a game that you can build on gold mine?
Beyond compare.
Okay, we're going to be pushing into Arnissa here now to secure the gold mine. And Ajax might be able to take this one himself. A lot of axemen inside, which usually do well in auto resolve. We'll allow Ajax to take this one. We'll share out the various unit experience, because we want him to be up nice and high. We don't want Achilles to take it right through the skull there. And yeah, the giants do not fare well in auto resolve. And because I don't have all the time in the world, I don't play every single battle. And we've managed to secure the entire province officially now. And we might be able to peace out with the Macedonians. Depending. Yeah, a lot of centaur buildings there. I do quite like the end tier of the centaurs. But as they have skirmishes, the low tier ones aren't necessarily too bad either. So we'll try and run down the last of the Macedonians. They're pushing easterly now. And oh, looks like there's harpy stuff as well. Okay guys, welcome to the top of the turn. So here is our ownership. We currently occupy most of Greek Macedonia. Thessaly, we don't have sort of this Epirus western part. Further down near Arcadia, it looks like the Spartans and our allies are doing quite well in Achaea. And the Macedonians only have a couple more provinces to the north. Here, we're going to be able to get a supply of harpies in, because they are fantastic. I can't recommend harpies as a mythical unit, especially the tier 1 ones are very potent and pertinent. They were fantastic in my Paris campaign when he has various even further missile block and missile buffs. And the N tier harpies as well, the black ones. I can't remember what they're called, death harpies or something. The N tier harpies are really good. I wonder why as well. Like, I've played obviously as Menelaus, Achilles, and Paris so far. There seems to be a lot more mythical units available in and around Mount Olympus. I wonder if that's sort of realistic historically. Is that represented? Did most of the folk tales, did most of the mythical stories come from the north, the mountainous and sort of maybe even dangerous and unpopulated regions in Greece? Let me know. Bronze Age connoisseurs. Ajax here has gone up in stats as well. I don't particularly want a chariot. I have a feeling that chariots and like, they obviously don't have horses in this, but basically horse and mounted entities work in the same effect as Warhammer. Let's go with some various items there. Okay, turn 63. So, Atlanta. We're going to be pushing into Georgia. Alright, so Ajax can continue to push on. And we just want to try and wrap up the Macedonians here. They've given us a hell of a fight. They're really making us work for this one. Yeah, so basically I want Achilles to be a fighter. A duelist. So, having him on a chariot isn't necessarily going to work. It makes his unit a lot bigger, so it means he's going to get hit more archer-wise, and it probably gives him a lot of debuffs as well. I want him to be a fighter or a duelist. If you had a warlord, maybe even a defender or an archer on the chariot, to swing him around and sort of run him around the battlefield. But the way I play with Achilles, it's turning into a bit of a meme losing these giants. I just want to be able to throw Achilles in where we can. And is that the end of the Macedonians? Hey, we destroyed the Macedonians here today. Well, we need to look for another target now. Okay guys, welcome to the top of the turn. I've skipped a little bit ahead. We're turned 67 in here now, and we need a new enemy to fight. I've made the decision that we're going to war the Cesopi on the western coast. I just want to move some units around here just to get the optimal unit build for Achilles that we can sort of work with. But we're going to be pushing against them here today, and we're going to have the Battle of Arni in a moment, where there's 6 units in. Sort of a bit of an outcropping, sort of pushing into my territory. Interestingly enough, we actually have some living legend stuff down here to deal with. I don't know if the game deliberately wanted me to go to war with them that way, but they were probably my biggest neighbour and biggest threat. So we're going to be going to war with them. Achilles isn't quite either indignant nor outraged. I want to try and get it to outraged. Apollo and Athena are going to look upon us. So Apollo is the new one in there. Rest in peace. R.I.P. Pixelated Apollo. He's not dead. He just stopped doing Total War. I like Pixelated Apollo. He's a good guy. I haven't had too many interactions with him. I used to do a podcast with him back in the day, and I've talked to him on various occasions. He's a good guy. Okay. So, we want to try and get... Yeah, so we'll try and join a war against the Cesopi. Or Cesopi. Cesopi. Oh, these names, man. We want to try and avoid any alliances and maybe get some better relations with some other factions is more than likely the play. Looking at the campaign map, they've actually managed to pin down Odysseus. He should be, I would think, much more stronger in this time period. He's found it very hard to push over and progress from his island home. We might be able to get a decent amount of gold here if we're lucky, which is incredibly crucial for high-end buildings. We're currently strength ranked 4, which is interesting enough, -9. And we're at war with the Cesopi. So they've got a gold mine, a lot of wood at their disposal. So that means we're going to be able to build and upgrade our buildings across the world. We'll do a quick save and a hard save. Seeing as our first battle, and this guy looks like a prominent general. Well, he's got goat horns, doesn't he? So Apollo's going to come with us, give us some buffs there. I eventually want to make it like an archer buff, but Athena's really going to help us out. Sacrifice. Hey! Got some good omens. Alright, looking at their army, nothing too crazy. Let's fight this one on the battlefield. So I skipped a little bit ahead. I don't mind doing that sort of stuff. I like to keep my campaigns edited where we can because, to be perfectly honest, like I don't really like to show setbacks because it's kind of like boring. Like, who cares about our minor ability? And there's only so many times. Like, I'm happy to show you my building composition, but I often have to sit and read, and I sweat a little bit, which I don't think... I like my building construction. I don't think that's the most important. And we literally burnt 4 turns and nothing happened. I prefer quality over quantity in my Let's Plays, and you guys seem to do as well. I like to show progression. I like to see taking territories rather than like losing them to bandits and rebels and stuff. I don't think that's overly too interesting. Unless there's a huge setback, of course. Like earlier in the campaign where they swarmed over with like 4 stacks. That was crazy. Like, that's crazy. That's a really aggressive invasion. And particularly in Total War, it doesn't happen too much. So there seems to be 4 ways... there's 4 ways of attack here. 3 ways in which my infantry are going to push. We'll try and use my centaurs for... I don't think it's the first time, but one of the earlier times that we fought in a siege like this. I really do enjoy the siege battles in Troy like this, like the field battle ones without the walls. I think that's really quite cool. But there is Achilles! And so in today's episode, we finished off the last of the Dorians. We put a hell of an investment in finishing off them in the last. We knocked out the Macedonians, and... yeah, I think the Dorians were more... because the Macedonians had one or two or so stacks. The Dorians had 3 or 4. They had a hell of a lot more. I'm curious to see what the Cesopi come with. So here are the Centaur Scouts, very lightly armoured. They're not going to really do too much. The end tier Centaurs are quite good, along with like higher tier chariots and stuff as well. But what I personally prefer like tier 1 mythical units, if I had to recommend any, it's probably the Harpies. I don't know if that's due to their own mythical prowess, or more so to do with the fact that, like in Warhammer 2 and even the later Total Wars to Thrones of Britannia, missile units are incredibly useful. Like maybe getting a Harpy spam army might be quite funny. So it looks like they've put Axemen there, so I was trying to wrap around, so that's not going to work. They have 2 generals, so do we. A fighter and a defender. Achilles and Ajax should be able to make quick work in a 1v1. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and hold my infantry back in certain pockets where we can, and I want to try and get my skirmishers to rain hellfire down upon the enemy and try and skirmish them out as we have skirmisher supremacy. A little bit to manage here. So the Harpies and the Slingers are getting some first shots off here. They seem to be throwing down a buff. Achilles is pushing up. It's currently 75 in our favour. The balance of power has gone a lot more in theirs than it was in the auto resolve. I think that's due to ammunition. It's kind of weird. Like in the later Total Wars, some people may or may not know this in Warhammer and stuff, but the balance of power is actually affected by the amount of ammunition you have. So sometimes if you are doing well in a battle and you burn through all your ammunition, sometimes the balance of power can change because of that. It's a little bit deceiving, but it's a cool little fact. You more so notice it in Warhammer 2 when you rely on gunpowder infantry, you rely on bolt throwers and more missile ammunition and whatnot. Okay, so Achilles has gone up to challenge. I want Ajax to focus on the other one, and Achilles should be able to make quick work of that. We go with Terrify and Vanquish. We do have Ares Rage as well. He does have a rage mechanic where he goes absolutely ballistic. When he gets blobbed down with units, we'll try and use that. We're currently 1v1ing the enemy general here. Achilles is going at it with his trusty... his trusty spear and shield, but his hand seems to be bugging through out of it, which is funny. Okay, skirmishers. Keep my infantry interlocked with them to protect them where we can. But I will be doing more daily Troy content on the channel, especially over the weeks and months. So stay tuned for that. I upload usually. I think that's always. Actually, like recently this year, I haven't been changing it too much, but midnight Australia time. That's when I upload. So that's when I upload from my perspective. But it's about 3 PM British time. In America, it can fluctuate to the early morning to the afternoon. And Europe and South America, I have no clue. So Achilles is trying to fight out here. Ajax can't seem to get past the blobs of spearmen there. It does look like my slingers are trying to help us out there. We've reduced him to half health. Achilles is absolutely rip-roaring through this fighter. And that's what I want. I want to be able to chuck him in. I want him to be a duelist. So we can eventually snipe the enemy generals. Because generals are really strong in Troy. And unlike in Warhammer 2, you can't snipe them out with magic and missiles and bolt throwers. In Troy, you definitely need to have generals being able to fight them out. I've actually noticed that like skirmishers, regardless of harpy javelinmen, normal javelinmen, archers, slingers, they don't do very well against enemy generals. Maybe low tier, like really early tier, but especially on this difficulty, I don't see that they're that useful. Ajax can't seem to push through here. Maybe we have to deploy a blood sacrifice just to sort of push him on there. And yeah, divine challenge, that's what we want to try and do. Go after that defender. Achilles has managed to broke the enemy fighter here. We just need to finish off the defender. My skirmishers are still, well, skirmishing out the enemy garrison. My infantry hasn't needed to push in here just yet. Early on, slingers are quite good, especially when they get their chevrons up, but the armor-piercing properties aren't very strong. I eventually will phase them out to better quality archers. But because we're playing as Achilles, we do have negative... Because we're such an aggressive, high-octane faction, there has to be a debuff to that, because being aggressive, even from Medieval 2 in Total Wars, is just so much more beneficial. You're better off being on the front foot than the back foot. You're better off being aggressive rather than sort of role-playing and sort of sitting back. Look, it's fun to do that sometimes, playing like a realistic medieval campaign, being completely pious and sort of lawful and chivalrous, let's say, only fighting people who attack you. That's fun, but it just allows your enemies to build up a lot quicker. I get it, but I like to be aggressive. It rewards the player more so. But once you play, if you play on like easy or like whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like, you don't really notice stuff, but as you get sort of to the higher tier difficulties, it can change things up. Yeah, so they got rid of very hard because we're actually playing on veteran. I don't play on legendary. I normally would, but save files. I do know that some of you guys may or may not know this is an interesting fact. So I like to be able to hard save and save in my campaigns. If legendary allowed you to do that, I'd play it without a shadow of doubt. It's just the saves that I personally prefer. But even with legendary difficulty, what you can do is, not saying that some YouTubers do this, but I know you can do it, is that, so if you start a legendary campaign and you save after every turn, what you can do is just go into the app data file of Troy, and if you've got a folder on your desktop, even though I don't think you use a second monitor if you really want, you can essentially save scum through that and just like back up the legendary files every single turn. So I guess why they do it is to stop save scumming, I guess, but people can just do it anyway, so I kind of find that a little bit silly, especially ones that the power goes out, which I don't know if this is a common thing anywhere else in the world, but the power goes out all the time here in Australia. Internet drops. It's mostly due to our energy stuff. I think we haven't got a proper reliable energy source. Over constantly trips and stuff in certain parts, but especially here in Tassie, maybe it's more my thing.
Warriors have been routed.
Even though we've got a lot of greeny power and hydro and electricity and wind farm and stuff, we usually flog most of it off to Victoria. I'm joking, I don't mean greedy as a negative connotation. Right, decisive victory, let's end that one there. So, whoa, we only lost 300 men. That just shows you the efficiency of those skirmishes, man. Crikey. Melanthios of the Cesopi. It just sounds more, I'd say Cesopi, but it sounds more Latin or Roman, which doesn't make sense in this period. But anyway, we've dealt with the Crescent Moon gang, but I like to call them. I don't know what that is.
My might only grows.
Challenge answered. Oh, because we took the province. Oh, that's good. Annex of Thessaly. Oh, so we've got a sword. Annex of Thessaly. Conquest of the legacy of the ancient kings. Huh. Is officially Achilles the king of Thessaly? Or Thessalia? Maybe. I didn't realize that was a part of my... it's not like a part of my chapter... Or it's like a part of my victory conditions, yeah. Or it's a part of the quests. Achilles is ranked 20 now. Ajax 15. Okay, so I'm still... Yeah, so that's actually only +7, so it's not that crazy. We've already got a really high tier sword with Achilles. But the thing is about Achilles, there's not too many legendary factions in and around him, like proper main factions. So, oh, okay, there's actually another 6 units there. And they wouldn't be open to peace. I was sort of curious, might give us a lump sum. Look at the terrain, man. There's like so many choke points coming in. Anyway, heroes. Let's talk about them. Depending if you feat legendary heroes, you can get various buffs on your player. But there's no one in and around us. In Warhammer 2, like, you get various bonus. Like, I remember playing as Tyrion, like, I was head hunting Count Noculus for so long. And depending on various vampires and stuff, you can get decent buffs for defeating them in battle. Okay, so I think we'll try and continue here. But yeah, look at this. There's like 1, 2, 3. There's a lot of choke points pushing into the west of Epirus, which is really quite cool. So even though there's a lot of ways in, there's a lot of ways that we could get attacked. So we're going to try and finish them off and secure Epirus on the western coast. My north seems quite secure, and we've mostly got better quality relations with Odysseus and Sparta. So we'll push into Dolopia and try and finish them off. Okay, so he's hanging down further to the south. I don't know. Maybe us pushing over will allow Achilles and a couple, Odysseus and a couple others to come help us out. So Achilles is going to push up and over, and we'll bring Ajax in as well. We're still losing about 700 grain per turn because Achilles is outraged. Excuse me. And the supply lines. We haven't got a big enough kingdom just yet. But looking at the terrain, a lot of wood, a gold mine, we're going to be able to upgrade a lot of our territory. We still can't confederate with anyone just yet, even nearly 70 turns in to the Let's Play. We'll sacrifice, got a good omen, and we'll push in now and give chase. So we defeated 6 units. There were 6 units hanging here, but I guess after the quick fall and they thought we're going to aggressively keep on pushing. Man, oh man, these auto-resolves. We keep on losing units here, and it's so annoying. Like, guaranteed early sieges, we lose 1 or 2 units. Crikey, mate. But, hey, at least we get some more harpies into this build. We'll get a couple of those. We can special recruit giants as well, if need be. So, 68 turns into the campaign. Achilles is now rank 20. So their capital's there, and it's a lot more harpies as well on the western coast. Ah, they've fled further back.
Son of a goddess and a king.
Duty first.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give chase. So that was a shield buff we already done. Yeah, let's go Ares, because we want sword. We don't have bow buffs overly too much. We want to try and deploy this envoy if I haven't already. Okay. He's still hanging around the mountain pass. Achilles got the movement now. Whoa, it's like a weird... Oh, I thought he was a lot closer than what he was. It's the river. Let's move in it there. Yeah, maybe Odysseus is making some plays from his island keep of Ithaca. I really like Odysseus. He's a very cool character. Even though we're on the other side of the river, we might be able to help out in this auto-resolve. On the edge. Achilles falls prey to all-consuming rage. Ah! Let Achilles' mighty rage consume him. Calm Achilles down with an offering. White-hot rage. Well, we're in a war. I don't need the resources. I could do it if I want. Let's go with white-hot rage, which will allow him to get crazy buffs. Yeah, Achilles' fatal anger. Yeah, let's go with that. So now he should have crazy stats, and they're still continuing to run away. Oh, he's ran right into the path of Ajax, though.
Check the defenses. Know my wrath.
Yeah, so we'll try and finish them off. And Hera is coming to help us out as well. It's very hard to maintain more than 3 gods. So in this playthrough with Achilles, I want to focus on Apollo, I want to focus on Athena and Hera for the replenishment. So we managed to destroy another 6 units there of the Cesopi. So we've destroyed only 12 units so far.
Enslave them.
But as we're slowly but surely pushing into them, we've had more challenges earlier in the campaign with our neighbours. I'm hoping there's more armies further down towards their capital and in their lands of Epirus. Yeah, so we'll just allow Ajax and Achilles to continue to push on. Royal decrees. Skirmisher buff's okay. I'm not really too fussed about min-maxing this. I'm sort of just playing it by ear. I'm still learning the royal decrees. Like, I don't know which part of the tech tree to sweat just yet. I'm sort of just playing by ear because I don't know what sort of buildings I want. But you never go wrong with missile damage improvement. Yeah, so he's currently, it's active now, outranged. Indignant and grieving went down quite a bit. And we got no more challenges because we knocked them out quite quickly. Okay, let's continue on and push the initiative. So they've got another small army here, which you're going to be able to quite easily deal with. Yeah, they should have a lot more armies. I haven't encountered more than 1 or 2. Maybe Odysseus is putting the pump on them. I'm not entirely sure. I wish you could see like a log of battles around the world. Because, like I said, because we've fought battles earlier which were so much more harder, but now we're just cruising into this Epirus territory. Because these guys do have armies, I just don't know where they are or who they've been destroyed by. Like, they must do.
I'll do it right.
There must be 2 full stacks.
Command me.
Be able to push and siege at the capital here now. Is there anyone there? No, there's no one here as well. And we haven't fought anyone. It's just a bit of a shame, but no matter. We'll allow Ajax to try and seize the capital of Cesopi.
Do not anger me.
Cesopi. Yeah, I guess that's how it is. We've already got the shield buff there. Oh, it's kind of hard to see what we haven't gone through. Combat Mastery, Rage, and then like Collector and Steward replenishment buffs there. Oh, so we've actually been attacked here. Well, Ajax can push back. So there is an army further north. And Sparta has confederated. Yeah, because they confederated with Agamemnon, didn't they? Sparta's 17 units, region strong, yeah. You thought Agamemnon would go the other way around, but I guess if we can confederate, then we get Agamemnon. Okay. So I guess we make a stand for their capital. Where'd that army go? The one that attacked me. Oh, there it is, 9 units. Crikey. Okay, well, we'll allow Achilles to go for the Cesopi capital.
Kill them all.
We'll continue the siege for now. And we'll bring in Ajax as a reinforcements as well.
Slaughter them.
So we're 70 plus turns in.
Send them.
And, oh. We're going to be able to auto-resolve this one as well. I think it's mostly due to Achilles' white-hot rage.
Bring their deaths.
That's going to carry these units for quite a long time. So we've taken the Cesopi capital, but we still want to deal with the rest of their warriors. So guys, unfortunately, we've hit an hour here. It's time to wind things down. Thank you very much for watching episode 4 of the Troy Total War Achilles campaign. Just got to say a huge thank you to CA for sending me an early access code of Troy and making this Let's Play possible. Stay tuned for episode 5 coming out tomorrow, where we try and finish and wrap up the rest of the Cesopians. Then we'll try and probably look to confederate with Odysseus or Sparta. Let me know in the comments, feedback and suggestions, of course. Probably Odysseus, because he's like a bowman and he's very unique and he's quite close. We actually border him closer than what we do of Sparta, but we're still continuing down the Homeric victory conditions. with the eventual end goal of sieging and attacking the ancient city of Troy.
Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series, and if you'd like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.